didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
This Jocks 94.5 podcast is brought to you by Millennium Satellite and Video. Log on to msbnow.com. TV excellence everywhere. That's Millennium. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning starts now.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. 9:33 Thursday, July 2nd, right here on Jocks. Going to go straight to the Higginbotham hotline and visit with Dave Bartoo. Statistically, Dave Bartoo brings a little bit of a different mentality to how we look at college football. Before we visit with Dave, Alabama heat and humidity can be brutal. Don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Trane cooling system. Recognized as America's most trusted brand 12 consecutive years. You can rely on a Trane. Find a comfort specialist near you at Trane.com. All right, Dave, so you put together some numbers for us on a couple of coaches in the SEC that we've been talking about. From an offensive coordinator perspective, let's start with Alex Golesh. I understand now taking over as head coach, some of that might be gone, might not be as in-depth, but that happened at South Florida as well. How do you view sort of his coach effect at Auburn, both as a play caller and as his short time as a head coach?
Okay, well, let's start with the play caller side of it. And from my standpoint, like you just introduced me, my point of view is always telling stories with numbers. I'm not an X's and O's guys, folks. So when I look at Alex Golesh, we got 3 years of him calling plays at South Florida, and one of the best parts about it is the progression. When he took over, it was better his first year than what he took over. The second year, better. Third year, last year, he got himself into the top 15 in overall offensive coordinator grade. So when I look at him relative to Auburn, I see a floor of a guy that in his first year was 81, second year was 64, and then he pushed it up into the top 15. So it took him just 3 years to take South Florida into the top 15 offensively. So I believe that's one of the strong reasons they hired him, not from the head coach standpoint, but more so from getting the offense going, because the defense at Auburn, really solid last year, retained a lot of that. And so I'm believing they're trying to catch a lot of that Alex magic offensively and push that forward. But overall, you still had a 3-year period. I don't know if Auburn fans want to wait 3 years for a top 20 offense, and I don't expect it to be that way. From a head coach standpoint, again, we got 3 years on this guy, and what his numbers, I have a little something I call coach effect, and it's kind of like baseball, wins above replacement. How well do you do above average relative to all the coaches out there? And so for Alex, he's a slight plus guy. He's going to bring a little bit more than half a win per season based on his 3 years. So when I look at Alex Golesh for the 2026 season, I like to look at what's his low, what's his high, and what is an average year for him. So when I project what he did at South Florida to Auburn, I get a projected 7.3 wins this year based on Auburn's roster and schedule. And I think right now, Vegas, the total wins is 6.5. So he's projected to be slightly over on the win total in year one.
So when you think about Alex Golesh coming to Auburn and you put with him the amount of players that were with him prior at South Florida, how does that change your expectations, the numbers? Because some people are going to say, well, they're not the caliber players they're going to play every week. Other people will say, well, continuity, togetherness, impact of understanding is going to be that much further ahead than a lot of other teams. How do you measure that out?
That one's difficult, right? Because what is the intangible? What is the impact of coaching and player continuity? We saw it a lot, obviously, with Indiana, and we've seen it everywhere, even in my backyard here in Oregon. I saw it with the Ducks with 20-plus years of basically the same coaching staff with Bellotti and what that was able to do for a program, especially now, NIL, transfer portal. You and I think everybody listening expects the number to be better because of all of the offense he brought with him. Okay. And I do not disagree with that. How we actually put a number exactly on that, there's the argument of, well, this is a very, very different level of play. So I lean more towards the continuity and guys playing together and being familiar and playing good team football over simply just throwing talent out there and expecting it to win without continuity. So if I'm an Auburn fan, my expectation is certainly going to be a little bit higher based on that top 15 offense and what he brought with him from South Florida.
There are a lot of Alabama fans that are currently frustrated with Ryan Grubb, and they took what they saw last season, the year before, and have said this is not taking us where it needs to be. He might not be the guy. What do your numbers say about Ryan Grubb as an offensive coordinator?
Well, he's number one, he's portable. He's done this in a lot of places. He did it at Fresno. He did it at Washington. And even last year, adjusted for schedule, that was the number 9 offense in the country. So if what you're expecting year in and year out is a top 3 offense or defense, because that's what it takes to win a national title, every single national title winner has finished the regular season top 3. That's a pretty lofty expectation in this world of roster, lack of continuity and lack of depth. But he's done it in several places. You look at the strength of schedule numbers, you look at his ability to put up momentum, which is the biggest number in college football. Okay, you get rid of him. I'm not seeing a guy out there that is above his level that he is really replaceable with. He's graded. He's one of the top 3 offensive coordinators as a career-wise in the SEC right now. And I can understand the frustration based on previous years of Alabama football, but that's never coming back for anybody. The depth isn't there anymore to be able to stack players and be that great. So with Grubb, I think it's about as good as what you're going to get, and it's only been 1 year, and it was the number 9 offense in the country against the 3rd toughest defensive profile in the country. So don't know a whole lot about what people be complaining about getting better from that standpoint.
All right. We're visiting with Dave Bartoo, CFB Matrix. You can follow him on Twitter. We mentioned coach effect with Ryan Grubb. What about, with Alex Golesh hadn't taken over at Auburn. Where is your coach effect with Kalen DeBoer right now? What do the numbers say about him as a head coach and as the Alabama head coach?
Well, his coach effect right now amongst active head coaches, he's 13 in the country right now. And his career range in terms of team impact, we saw it at Washington. He had one of the best coach impact seasons we've seen in the last decade. So when you take a look at his career and his numbers, on the very low end, his floor, if he had his worst season of coach impact, we're looking at 8 wins. The upper season, it's undefeated. His projection is at 10.3 based on his entire career. So his worst season is literally the average college football coach. His upper season, and for most of his career, it's been elite.
I didn't ask you to pull this for us, but it made me start to think about this because we brought this up a little bit earlier in the show, and the guys actually talked about it earlier in the week. You might need a second to look at it, and if so, that's fine. We can buy some time for you to be able to do it. I'm just interested in what your numbers say about Mike Bobo at Georgia, because Georgia fans are never going to get on board. They just aren't, and I don't know what it is. I don't really know why. I don't know what they expect. I don't know what they need, but they win. And when I see the way he manipulates things with what he's had to work with, I actually think it's great, and I think it's been really good. Now, does that mean it's high-flying, air raid, putting up a bunch of passing yards? No, it doesn't, but it's been effective. Your numbers say what about Mike Bobo as the Georgia offensive coordinator?
4-star guy, top 20th percentile of all offensive coordinators in the last 16 years. So, I mean, when you actually look at his numbers, if you and I were sitting down in the studio and I put Mike Bobo right up next to Monken in their careers, because everybody loved Monken when he was there, it's almost identical. You know, the scoring efficiency, which is important, the momentum generation, almost identical. I mean, the numbers he has put up for his career are very good and extraordinarily similar to the last guy that won Georgia national title. So I don't disagree with you at all. I mean, they have not liked Mike Bobo from day one, which is odd because the group that fell more than anything after the last national title was the defense. And it was the offense that was carrying it for a while. And they just haven't been able to figure out how to get the offense and defense, in my opinion, on the same page. But why you would not like Mike Bobo when you like Monken or somebody else, in that nature is, bro, it's beyond me.
It's odd to think about it. We were talking earlier about we stumbled across some of Kevin Smith's numbers when he was a running back at UCF, 450 carries. I don't know why we don't talk about that more. And then we came across a story that there's a 5-star running back out of high school that's apparently going to be the first $1 million running back out of high school. Are we seeing a little bit of I don't want to say resurgence, Dave, in the running back position, but are we seeing maybe a reset in the value of the running back position? Because all we did was talk about for a decade, it doesn't matter anymore. It's being devalued, can't go in the first round, whatever that is. And if you look at these teams that are advancing in the playoffs, most of them have that guy or those guys in the backfield. Do your numbers show sort of a reset in the value of the running back position at all?
I don't know if it's a reset in the value, but I have never understood inside the numbers why programs got so pass happy. And maybe it's because Chick digs long ball, right? It's a home run. And there was a focus on explosive plays when actually the important number is explosive scoring plays. But when you look at college football, and to me as a numbers guy, the bottom line is how important is having that good run game. Drives in college football in the last decade, when they have more rushes than passes, okay? So 6 rushes, 5 passes, 7 rushes, 4 passes, whatever it is. When you have more rushes than passes in a drive, you score 13% more points. You got to have a good running game. To me, it's never gone away. For whatever reason, the focus changed. But if I was a coach, if I was a GM, I have to have a running game, not just for scoring, but to close these things out.
Yeah, I would imagine the majority of that comes in the red zone, where if you don't have that ability to run the football, a lot of teams can get into the red zone. Like you said, they can't punch it in. They can't finish the drive off.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. There's that dynamic. You know, how many pitches do you have? Right, as an offensive coordinator, how many pitches do you have? We see this in Major League Baseball. Well, he's a fastball guy. Cool. He's in the bullpen. He only gets to face 3 guys. You know, you're looking for that offensive coordinator that is multi-tooled, that can throw the fastball, the curveball, the splitter. And to me, you have to have a great run game to complement the great pass game in order to be that national championship level team.
Dave, great stuff, man. So much fun. We need to get you back, talk about more teams heading into this season, just where the numbers are with them, what it means, and we'll do it again soon.
Thank you.
There you go. Dave Bartoo, CFB Matrix, does an awesome job covering college football from a statistical perspective, and just love diving into some of the numbers there. I mean, you hear him talk about it, and Mike Bobo, what do you say, top 14 coordinator of the last decade?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ryan Grubb, excellent. Portable, done at different places. At CFB Matrix. Go find his work there on Twitter at CFB Analytical as well. Does an awesome job. When we come back, our Super Sofa games of the week and maybe a micro bad box score of the day next on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, and 3-Man Front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.